Hi guys, it's Dan here, and today I'm going to be talking about The Last Wish by Andrzej Sapkowski. I assume that's how you pronounce it. There's like 4 consonants in a row in that first name, one of them's a Z, but we're going to go for Andrzej. This is the first book in the Witcher series, which I think has 8 books in total. There's like 2 short story collections and 5 novels, and then there's like a standalone novel that fits somewhere in between them. That's my understanding anyway. And this is a sort of grim, dark short story collection. Yeah, so I actually picked up this book because I knew this Polish girl and she was reading it, so I thought if I read it then that would really impress her with my knowledge of Polish writers. But as it happens, she left the country before I got a chance to read it, so that was a useful exercise. But anyway, she must have been reading one of the novels, I think, because that's what I was expecting. I wasn't expecting a short story collection when I picked this one up, but having read it, I think actually it's quite an original and effective way of starting off a series. And in this collection there are 6 short stories with sort of interludes between them that have a running narrative that provides a loose structure, but the stories themselves are only actually connected by the fact that we follow the life of episodes from the life of this one main character, Geralt of Rivia. Geralt is a witcher, which means that he's like a professional monster hunter for hire who's been mutated by like magic and potions and stuff to have, almost superhuman fighting abilities and magical powers and things. And the stories all follow him travelling around this fantasy world, having adventures, sometimes it's with other people like his best mate Dandelion or his sort of love interest Yennefer, as well as a bunch of other interesting characters. So is it any good? Well, the short answer is yes, I enjoyed it quite a lot. It's got a good tone, it's got some really interesting characters, a good sense of humour, even though it is quite dark. And I like the concept of having a bunch of short stories to get you involved in the characters and the world before you embark on a series of novels. And if you want the long answer about why I liked it, then so the tone, like I say, for one thing, was really good. It's pretty dark, but a lot of humour. Geralt's got a really dry wit, and there's a few conversations in this where he gets to display that. He also does a bit of, he's got a few skits, he does some physical comedy. There's one bit where this guy tries to bribe him, and Geralt starts to preach ethics at him. This guy then accuses him of hypocrisy, so Geralt just doesn't say anything, straight up knocks him out, ties him up, and uses him as bait to hunt a vampire. That's pretty class, and it made me laugh anyway. Also his relationship with his best mate Dandelion, who's this sort of roguish bard type character, is pretty good for some comedy moments as well. So hopefully he shows up in the rest of the series. Most of the stories in this are either fairy tale retellings or they've got some kind of fairy tale elements in them, but Sapkowski gives them a really dark spin. I really enjoyed the one short story, it's called A Lesser Evil, which has this Snow White character in it who called Shrike, who is also this bandit queen in the story. I mean, that was a pretty cool one. And while Sapkowski's going about it, he's subverting a load of these fairy tale tropes and fantasy tropes in general, and sets up really interesting conversations between the characters where they sort of moralise and philosophise about the implications of these ideas. And Geralt's great for getting involved in these kind of discussions, but as I say, he's just as likely to just knock someone down as well. He's a really well written and sort of unpredictable, but you can see where he's coming from, protagonist. Not your typical hero type. I mean, he hunts monsters and he does quests and stuff like that, but it's just a job for him, and he definitely doesn't get treated like a hero by everyone around him, apart from Dandelion, who's, makes up loads of songs about him. Yeah, and often, Geralt's morals will seem pretty debatable, but what I like about him is that he at least does think about that kind of stuff. He's not just going around ploughing into, one mission or one quest after another. He's thinking about the implications of his actions and, the right and wrong of them. Whether it is, in fact, right to be killing these monsters, and, what even is a monster. So yeah, I guess I didn't really have any major issues with the book. But all I will say is, I hope it lives up to the potential that was laid out in this one. Like I say, having a short story collection as the introduction to a series is pretty unusual. I don't recall seeing it before. Maybe it has been done, but it opens up a load of possibilities for a writer, I reckon. It's a great chance to provide some character development and backstory, and it is a golden opportunity for some, heavy foreshadowing for the rest of the series. So, with that in mind, I hope that Sapkowski does follow through with the main novel series, the 5-book novel series. Yeah, if none of the stuff in these short stories is relevant to that, then I'll be pretty disappointed. But, having said that, if he does do that, if he does follow through, then I think this has got the potential to be a really great series, and it certainly seems like he is setting himself up to achieve that. So, fingers crossed. Yeah, so I've got the second short story collection on my bookshelf, and I've also got the first one of the series of novels, so I reckon I might kick into the novels next. Yeah. So yeah, The Last Wish, Andrzej Sapkowski. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Worth a read. I'll let you know what I think of the novels. Yeah, so bye, I suppose.